the thing with, so I've seen a lot of your videos online, and, you know, you have charisma. You have so much energy on stage.
You got charisma, kid.
You do.
You'll never play the big rooms.
But you do, like, you know, you shine on stage, you have so much energy. And, like, somebody like myself, who's more of an introvert, you know, I think that was definitely sort of my Achilles heel on stage, is just being able to really feel sort of comfortable in my own skin and really just going for it and sort of just kind of not holding back. And I think it's not even always the vocals that hold people back. I think that there are huge obstacles that are outside the vocals. Because I always tell my students that the vocals, sure, they're important. Nobody wants to hear a really bad singer, but they're really only one part of what makes a performance great.
Right.
And they want to be invited into this experience, and they want it to be this whole visual, auditory experience. And there's so much more to being on stage than just singing every note perfectly, as much as we'd like to. And that's what we do kind of when we're practicing in our own practice time. But when we get on stage, you know, that technique should be on autopilot. And then it's all about the audience. It's all about engaging. And
I got to interject, because the smartest thing, and then I'll let you get right back, is I got lucky because I got in a band where I wasn't myself. I played a character. So, with that, the first gigs were I wore this big afro, and I called myself Preston Mosley Brown. And I actually went and watched all these old, cool 70s shows where disco guys and pimps and all that, and learned lingo. Watched a bunch of James Brown and how he talked to the audience, and that was my character. So I was not me, which is because I'm like you. I'm kind of an introvert. I don't, you know, my daughter's like, dude, get out of the house. Like, I don't go out of the house unless I'm working. Pretty much that's it.
All right.
Dinner.
Yeah,
know?
see, I found that with musical theater, the same thing. If I was playing a character, it was so much easier because the words weren't my own.
Right.
I didn't have to, like, come up with things to say between songs, and all eyes were on me. I mean, and yeah, exactly, I could play a character, but you put me on stage to actually perform a song, and then there's just, you know, just this, I just want to run and hide. I get off the stage and I just want to go home, and I'm peopled out by that point. Like, I just, like, okay, I'm ready to go. I don't want to greet people. I just want to run away.
I think we take ourselves too seriously when we're doing our own thing. We have to realize it's just music. Because I had a lot of friends that do what I do in the cover bands and in the show bands, and they're hilarious in the show band. They make me laugh. I've been on stage a couple times with a couple guys, like where I actually play guitar. Like, you know, hey, we need a guitar player tonight. Ralph's singing. Okay, great. And like this guy Ralph, he's the singer of a band called Steel Panther. You've probably heard of them, right? So, but before that, he played in this company with me, the same company I played with. So every once in a while, I'd play guitar on a disco gig, and Ralph would sing. Oh yeah, and this guy Ralph was a super funny guy. And, you know, Steel Panther is very, you know, they're nationally known now. Back in the day, he was in the same company, the corporate band, Perfect World Entertainment, and I would do gigs once in a while. I do the gig on guitar as well. And I mean, he was just so funny. Like, and to me, that's what the audience really dug. I mean, we played the songs well. They really loved it. It was so funny and just like, and I had a lot of guys like that would do the show, and then you go, hey, they'd say, hey, my original band's playing, come see us on my original band. And then we go, Ralph, it wasn't Ralph, but some of the other guys, and I'd go, and the band would be just kind of boring. I'd be like, where's that personality that I play with all the time? You know what I mean? And it's just that I think we all, including myself, and I don't write music much anymore, and I think if I was doing my own songs, I'd be all serious about it. And it's like, why? It's no different than any other song. You know what I mean? You don't have to look at yourself and say, I have to be so serious. It's about the world, and I don't like the way it's going. And I'm going to be serious about it. It could be a joke. And I think that comes off.
But what if you are serious about the world being terrible?
Well, you know, then you'd be
so
serious.
I have to admit, like, all of my songs are written in minor keys, and they tend to be very melancholic. Because that's just who I am. I'm not a funny person. Well, I don't know if it was that serious.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, I don't know, I think that's the problem. You know, because when you go see, you know, I mean, Prince, look at Prince, one of my favorite artists of all time. Go see him live. He was actually really funny. You could go watch on YouTube, go watch him. It's an acoustic set that he does. And he's hilarious. And it's like, look how serious he is as a musician, but he's not taking himself that serious. And he's playing sort of a character.
Yeah, I think that is it. It's like, I kind of tell my students, because I also teach method acting classes, and, you know, it's like, I try to teach some of my singing students the same kind of tools that I use for the method actors. That just this idea of, you know, put on a character. If you're somebody who does take it too seriously, if you're somebody who's nervous being on stage, then just put on the character of some rock star, somebody who knows they belong up there, who feels confident. Yeah, you're you. You're not exactly acting, but yeah, and it's to get out of that your comfort zone. It's hard for some of us. It really is.
And I think also, you know, a lot of people, if you spoke with them, like we're speaking right now, you don't come across as super serious and nervous or introverted to me at all. So that Karen goes to the stage, everything's going to work out perfect. But if Karen thinks for a moment, I'm going to sing my song now, I got to be good and I got to be sitting, now it's going to go.
Yeah, and see, that's the Karen.
I feel it too.
That's the Karen that records.
I go to these gigs around here, even these little small.
Sorry, we're talking over each other.
What's that?
We have a little.
Yeah, I missed it. That's the Karen that what?
That's the Karen that records her videos. Because it's like I know I can be really serious.
You know, I don't like recording videos. It drives me crazy. I don't like to look at myself on camera. None of that stuff.
Yeah, you and I are very much the same that way. You know, we're not terribly comfortable in front of the camera. It's kind of hard because you're not. I think too, when there's no audience immediately there, I don't think I'm not as animated as I maybe am in person when I'm talking to somebody, having a conversation with somebody, and I'm also talking about something that, you know, I'm serious about, and you know, and I'm really not a comedian by nature. I am not a funny person. Most of my jokes are very dry, like British wit, you know, just, I'm not British, but, you know, like they're dry and only a select few people would get it, get my humor. So.
But at least, like, you know, it's like, you know, your personality is pleasant, and that is, to me, what if someone was shy on stage, just bring that pleasant person to the stage instead of the person that maybe they think they are. Like, I think that I'm not pleasant, or I think, you know, I do the same thing. I play gigs sometimes, I'm like, if I don't sing as well as I like by the fourth song, the rest of my gig in my mind is, I'm like, they don't know. They don't know that you're not singing as well as you usually do.
Right.
You know?
I think that sometimes, as much as, again, we want to study technique and be really good at it and be really impressive vocally, I think what happens when we get on stage is we become so focused on, like, I know for me, like, I have a really bad habit of having this sort of inner monologue going on. And I'm sitting there and like, oh, do I look stupid when I move? You know, am I just, what does that expression mean? Is he liking it? Is he not liking it? You know, and it's hard for me, instead of really feeling like I am up there to entertain, they don't care if I hit a sour note. Honestly, like, you know how many great singers out there screw up on stage?
Of course.
I mean, people who have very successful international careers, they make mistakes on stage vocally, but there's something about them that draws in the audience, and that's the idea, because again, the audience is not looking for perfect vocals. They're not looking for the studio quality vocals. They're not.
Right.
That's why a lot of singers do things differently vocally on stage, and they take even sometimes more risks on stage than they do in the studio. Sometimes it's the other way around, but, you know, because they're like, you know, whatever. Sure, people might be recording this and posting it on YouTube, but at the same time, you know, people are more forgiving because you're running around the stage. What was that?
Yeah. So it made everybody self-conscious was YouTube. You know? When people tell me, oh, I recorded, you know, 5 of your songs, I'd be like, erase them, do not put those up. You know what I mean? Because I don't know what's on there.
Yeah.
And, you know, as Sinatra used to say, you know, my man in the background there, what he used to say was, you're only remembered from your worst performance.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care how killer you were 2 nights ago. No. If that performance and you were and you were flat and things didn't work out quite the way they were supposed to, that's how you remember it. Always losing it. He doesn't have a range anymore. I could lift this pen. I could lift this pen. It could fall out of my hands. A lot of times you go to grab something and you miss it. This is a really tiny little muscle. It's going to miss things.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And so Sinatra, I mean, that was before the age of the internet. That's like, now it's amplified even more so because everything that you do, anything that you do in public gets put on YouTube or somewhere else, and it's there to be scrutinized by everybody. And I think that puts so much pressure on everybody. And I mean, even for me as a singing teacher, the expectation is that somehow I'm going to be this phenomenal singer, but what if, I have a bad performance and they're going to be judging me and critiquing me by higher standards than somebody who isn't a singing teacher. And there's all of that pressure, and it's a scary thing. Like for me, I've been kind of putting it off for a lot of reasons, mostly because of just lack of time. But finally, just putting out some recordings, putting myself out there, and I've gotten to the place, I think, mentally, where I'm just finally, again, at a place in my life where I'm saying, what do I have to lose? If I don't do this now, 40 years from now, I'm going to look back with regret because I didn't try. I didn't take that risk. I didn't put myself out there. And so, screw the critics. Really, I just
you're doing something that you're doing something anyway that you know something a lot about something. So why would you just do it?
But even singing.
But again,
just the actual performance, and even for me, because I've decided that I want to put out my own songs, which I'm fairly confident in my songwriting ability. Not so much in the arrangement component of it, like I'm one of those people. It's like I hear all these songs, and these people get these producers who can just hear all of these little neatly woven aspects of music, and the instruments just kind of do all these really cool things that don't detract from the vocals or the melody or whatever. They contribute to it, and that's where the producer comes in, because I don't think I have that. But when it comes to like melody and the lyrics and stuff, I feel like I'm pretty strong in that area. But there's always that risk of putting your music out there, because there's there's always somebody who's not going to like what you're doing. There are some amazing singers out there who've had extremely successful careers, who I know are really, really good vocalists, but I hate their voices and I hate their music. And that's just how it's going to be. Right.
Yep, exactly. I mean, I like coffee. Someone doesn't like coffee. You know what I mean? It's it's one of those things. And people, it's tough now in a day and age with the internet, but we get around it. We work our ways around it.
But so this was good. This was fun.
Yeah, glad we did it. It was fun.
Yeah, it was good chatting with you, just kind of catching up with you too a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.